I'm going to do something else because I need a break for like 2 seconds just to catch up. Then we'll go to the World War II. I saw this clip someone sent me the other day. It involves Richard Dawkins. And if you've heard me talk about Richard Dawkins or you've seen the videos on my YouTube channel for a while, like one of the things that's really frustrating is the way Richard Dawkins, who is the go to person if you're a reporter or a media outlet and you want someone to talk about atheism, of course they want Richard Dawkins. He's still like the most famous atheist in the world, which is fine. He wrote The God Delusion. I get it. It's not a jealousy thing. It's like, I get why they want him to talk about it. But every time recently, it seems like he uses his platform to spread lies about trans people, to insist that trans people are lying to themselves. They're not really who they say they are. And he says things that trans people would never agree with. So for a guy whose whole thing is, don't straw man the argument, let's steel man the argument. Here he is straw manning and people say. And that's how bad it is. I'm going to show you this clip. This is from a Christian pastor who was saying exactly what you would expect an white evangelical pastor to say about gay people and trans people. He's going to say all that stuff. It's wrong. It's you're mentally deluded, all that sort of stuff. But notice how he uses Richard Dawkins in this. Let me play this clip for you. It's about 2 minutes long.
Everything Jesus said was intentional. He never said anything accidentally. And by giving these examples, what he was doing was not only affirming a strict understanding of gender, but also reaffirming God's plan for sexuality, his design for it. God designed sex to be enjoyed between one man and one woman in a marital relationship before God. And anything that falls outside of that, whether transgender or heterosexual or anything outside of the man-woman marital relationship, according to God and affirmed by Jesus, is sinful, and it needs to be addressed. And for many people, you might hear this say, okay, fine, I understand the historical biblical position on gender and sexuality. Got it. I just don't agree. I don't believe the Bible. And if that's the case, then let's step outside of the Bible. And let's step into the secular world, particularly in the world of science. Some of you may be familiar with the name Richard Dawkins. So that is an atheist who, because of comments like this, had an award, a humanist award of all things, that were awarded to him. He had that stripped, and he was labeled as a bigot and transphobic. And the reality is, to even question transgender ideology will often get you branded. People like me, a pastor who holds to the Bible as the source of truth and the standard by which we measure right and wrong, can very easily also be branded as just another white, cisgendered Christian spewing his hatred.
So I did cut out a clip there, but the clip he showed everyone was Richard Dawkins appearing on Real Time with Bill Maher and basically saying there are only two genders and it's, as simple as chromosomes or whatever he said to Helen Joyce a little while ago. And this pastor is saying, you guys, the Bible says trans people don't exist and LGBTQ people shouldn't be allowed to get married or something. But if you don't believe that, if you don't want to listen to the Bible, how about you listen to science? And then plays the clip of Richard Dawkins saying the same transphobic bullshit. And it says, see, so they agree with us on all of this stuff. So, I mean, it should bother Richard Dawkins that conservative Christian pastors are using him to promote their bigotry. There was a day when Richard Dawkins would have been disturbed by that, where he would have spoken out against that sort of thing. I have not seen him. I don't think I have missed this. I don't think I've seen him speak out against pastors who promote anti-trans stuff, because by and large, he's with all those people. I actually spoke to a friend this week who's trying to defend Dawkins to me. And I think this is a belief that a lot of atheists have, which is he means well. He's trying to explain this. He's not really anti-trans. And the reaction I always have is, you don't even have to ask me about this. How many trans people have you talked to about this who know these issues, who follow Richard Dawkins, who have something to say about this? There's a lot of them. I follow a bunch of them. Have you? Have you talked to any of these people? Because they could tell you far better than I could what he's getting wrong, why it's harmful. why it would be so much nicer if he would be speaking out against this stuff, but he's fallen into this trap of anyone who defends trans people, promotes trans rights, says trans girls should be allowed to play sports in high school or something. They're all woke and they're all, part of some wokest religion or something like that. It's insane. And pretty much all those new atheist types have fallen down that same rabbit hole, and they're all friends with each other too. So they all just, when one does it, the others spread it, and they all tell each other how smart they are, and they're famous enough that I think it's very easy for them to just be surrounded by people who tell them how amazing they are, which is a concept totally foreign to me because I only surround myself with people who mock me incessantly at all times. So I don't know what the hell that feeling is like. But I think that's the problem. They don't have enough people close to them willing to tell them they're wrong, they're hurting people, they ought to stop. They could read up on this stuff, they could talk to someone who actually has a different perspective. For all these people who are like, let's have dangerous conversations, they never have it with liberals who want to call them out on their bullshit.